Over here. A lot to go over, man. A lot to go over. I don't know why my thing did that. Ah, that's right, because I had that off. Anyway, a lot to go over, man. Let's go ahead and get into the chat. What's up? Everybody was up in here. I see y'all. So, I don't even know where to start and how I feel about some of the news that, especially going into tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be interesting. But I do got to talk about one thing. And we're going to have to get this off the chest real quick. What up, Sean? Talos, what's up? Good to see you. Marius, what up? So, I'm fried out my mind. What else is new? You always fried out your mind. You word up? Did you clean your room? Huh? Did you fix your PC? Probably not. Shout out to Lobo. Let's go ahead, man. Let's go ahead. Shout out to you guys. What's up? What's up? What's up? So, where do we start, man? Where do we start? Usually times like this, you guys will see a PlayStation 5 Pro. You know, usually when you see stuff like this, whether it be a PS5 Pro or a new piece of hardware, you know, it'd be exciting times, right? Everybody be jumping out their seats with joy. Everybody be super rejoicing, right? Everybody be over the moon. Today is the first time ever I'm like, why? You know, I joked about this before. I mean, again, I didn't think it would ever get here, but it kind of feels like we're now touching that territory now of Steam machines. You guys remember the Steam machines that came out during the PlayStation 3 gen? They obviously failed miserably because they didn't have the first party, you know, that Sony or Microsoft had at the time. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have nothing like that. So they were basically just little PCs that were essentially consoles. Now we're in that realm with these next gen consoles. We got mid-gen refreshes. We got, you know, PCs. Well, we're getting PC level performance up to par, that is, right? We're getting the full snuff. So you're getting both in the end here. And hold on. Forgot to put this out here. We live. I don't know why I forget. I always do this. I always forget to do this. Always forget to do this. There we go. There we go. But we usually, you know, you got PC level performance, you got everything out your mind, you're getting all this stuff, the bells and whistles. And times like this, usually you just be like, yeah, this is a great time, right? It's a great time. For the first time ever, we haven't even touched the box of the consoles at this point. We haven't even touched them. We haven't fully embraced them whatsoever. Now, it would have been different. This would have been a different story if this was the PS4. Because you guys remember when PS4 dropped, developers are coming out in bulk saying the consoles were maxed out. It was already pretty much useless to them at that point, right? It was underpowered. You haven't seen out 1 ounce of that with the PS5 or Series X. And the reason why is because, again, we haven't even barely touched them. Now we're going into a 2-year jump from here, and we're talking about newer consoles dropping. A PS5 Pro. Now, granted, the PS5 Pro was supposed to extend the generation, right? It's supposed to be a mid-gen. It's supposed to extend it beyond that point where it's supposed to end. But since we're at this point now where we're just starting, what's the point? You might as well call this a refresh of the whole gen at this point. A legit refresh, not even a mid-gen, like a full-fledged restart of the gen. And it kind of makes you wonder, why did Sony drop the PS5 now? Why not just drop that later? Same thing goes with Microsoft. Why not just let the PS4 go a little longer? Then you drop the 5 when this comes out, if everything was going to be, you know, like this. Because remember, Sony and Microsoft knew the shortages were going to be a thing. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. I would have opted for that down the road. What up, Overdone? Derman said, I need more power. I mean, the thing is, you know, even if they did need more power, this kind of sets up a few other weird scenarios for them too. Now, again, what else has dropped for the PS5 that we know of, that we just got into? We bought custom shells for the PS5, right? We got games already out here, but we got custom shells for PS5. You got all this stuff on the side, right? You got the charger stations and all that stuff. What happens when this PS5 Pro model drops and you can't use those little shells and stuff like that for the console? Hey, yo, Merc, yo, I need you to pull up, bro. It's been too long. You need to pull up, dog. You need to pull up. I don't know if you in the server, what's up? I don't know if you're at work, but you need to pull up more often. I need to hear your voice on this because, bro, the argument of PC gaming becoming too expensive just went out the window as of today or as of yesterday. Like, real talk. That entire argument just died in a blaze of fiery glory. And I don't even know what to say at this point. And I figured you at work. You work early. I thought you were on that late shift. But no, like, everything just everything, it doesn't make sense for me going into these and going forward right now. It just doesn't. Like, I'm not excited for it as much. Are you guys excited for PS5 Pros? I'm gonna be honest. Are you guys excited for it? I'm not excited for it. You got dudes undermining PS5 and Series X already, and we're talking about power. I mean, like, what's the point? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Arturo, what's up? What's up, Nike? What's up? He says PC gaming is expensive initially. Yeah, true. When you start the initial process, yeah, it can be expensive. Buying graphics cards, sure, absolutely, absolutely. But you can buy a pre-built for $600 and go off of that. There are ways of getting into it where it's cheaper. You don't necessarily have to just go and like blow, you know what I mean? Like crazy crazy stacks on everything, unless you want top of the line stuff. But again, even if you get in the top of the line stuff, it depends on what you truly want. You know what I mean? Like, do you want 4K everything? Do you want 4K 60, 120? Do you want that type of stuff? It comes down to you. And the average console player now, I mean, we're now about to hit, I guess you can say we're going to hit the 120 frames consistently now. We got pro units on the horizon, right? But I'm not expecting anything else much out of this, because they're talking about 8K rendering. They're talking about, they're talking about 8K rendering and 120 frames. So more likely the other technique might come into play, though, for this as well, that we just saw not too long ago. If you guys remember Fidelity FX. Fidelity FX might also be utilized on this new Pro unit. It's interesting. It's interesting. I got to see the specifications on this and really determine what it is. We didn't get the full spec list. Spec list. We did get something on a CPU, I think, or a GPU. I think we got something on a GPU. So an AMD Radeon RX 7000 GPU and 8K output. Okay, so let's look up that, actually. That's what I'll do. Hold on. Where's the PS5 rocking? PS5's rocking GPU. Give me 1 second. Okay, closest. I'll show graphics card. GPU is AMD 5700 XT. Okay. So that's what Sony's rocking on PS5. That's the closest they said right there. No problem. So we'll do a comparison versus 5700 XT. And let's see. Alrighty. Core clocks, number transistor, manufacturer, 7 nanometer, PCIe 4.0, which supports the graphics card that we talked about before. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second. I'm just getting this all set for you guys. So this is what we know so far of these graphics cards. Shout out to everybody coming through us. Oh my god, what's with these funny accounts? But they need to remove that YouTube short thing from this. What up, Muck? Darth Kermit, what up? Okay. How was my damn screen go? Oh shit. Alright, here it is. Let's see, what screen are you gonna show? Might be small for you guys, right? It's too small. Let me see. If it's too small, I might have to switch my screen. Oh, I should know. I can just do this. There you go. All right. So this is what we know about the graphics card that's in PS5. And we're going to compare that to what we know about for this PS5 Pro. Hopefully you guys can see this. Let me know if you guys can see this in the chat. I had to zoom in because I'm on my 4K monitor here. What up, Master Reduce? What's good? What's good? Lucky to get one. Why not? They will probably be hard to find. Yeah. All right. So this is what we know. This is what we know so far. In terms of GPU specifically, the PS5 Pro is rocking the 7000 series. Oh Lord, get the hell out of here. Rocking the 7000 series. While the PS5 regular is rocking the Radeon RX 5700. That's what they're rocking. Or the equivalent is what they're rocking is that. All right. So you got the Navi and RDNA, vice versa. versus this one right here, which not much data for. Okay, interesting. Interesting indeed. Scroll it down. In terms of overall, like, transistors, the 7000 series definitely has a lot more leg room. 30 million transistors. 180 nanometer. Okay. 23 watts. Texture fill rate is 0.55. Okay. One slot HGP versus a PCIe 4.0, which is the run for the 5700. Okay. 32 megabits. 36 megahertz. 2.9 gigabytes bandwidth. Not bad. Okay. Not bad indeed. Not bad. Advantages and disadvantages. Okay, we got no result. Of course you got it because it just got revealed. Yeah, so more information for this is gonna have to drop soon. But for what we're seeing here, that's actually not a bad upgrade for the most part. Yeah, judging from this alone, it's definitely gonna be bigger than what we have, and this is the GPU. This is what they're rocking here. So, Jesus Christ, did they say anything else? What's the CPU for this thing? Hold on, I don't think they say anything about the CPU. Did they? No word on the CPU. So they just dropped the GPU now. So it's, unless they're rocking the exact same CPU, which honestly would be interesting if they're rocking the same CPU, because the CPUs in PS5 and Series X are actually not the problem. They're actually fine. So maybe that's their cop out. Maybe they just went and upgraded the GPU by itself, with a few improvements. Maybe it's very vague in this respect. I don't see much else here. It's very vague. It could very well. They probably could have updated that too, but they're not saying much else. I guess we have to wait for official word from Sony in general for it. But even with me talking about it like this with you guys, like I'm not like crazy over the moon for this at all. I'm really not. Like I just really feel like we're rushing into it. You know what I mean? Like I don't think we need a PS5 Pro or a Series Elite, whatever the case might be, whatever this name's gonna be right now. I just don't think we need it right now. I really do. And now we're, again, even in 2 years, we got a lot of stuff to look forward to in 2 years. And now the conversation is going to be shifted to, wow, these games could look even better. It's on this. Even though these games look absolutely amazing. Like, we don't need it at all. But I don't know, man. And by the time they drop this, and you know what's interesting about this, too? Now that I'm really, like, thinking about this. You guys remember that conversation we had about those certain PS5s that they cut corners around with the heat, like the cooling solution? Y'all remember that? Where I said that we'll probably see more. We have to like wait for that and see how those actually do in the market. Like when these games start really revving up and start pushing the max. That's a good question now we're getting a Pro unit right around that time. When did you guys think? I'm just saying, like, I really think it's like, it's just weird, man. It's a weird conversation. It's a weird bubble that they're in right now with this. It really is. He said 8K won't be affordable until the next decade. I only get PS5 Pro to get a bigger hard drive space. That's all. I mean, that's if they even upgrade that. Did they even say anything about hard drive sizes for this? I don't think they did. It might be the exact same thing you're getting here, and you have to convert your hard drive back to that. I don't know, man. Unless, prices could be substantially better going into 2 years from now. It could be substantially better, but I don't want to hold my breath on it being like, you know what I mean? Like it being completely fixed, because it's up in the air at this point. I hope with the PS5 Pro, they also let us upgrade the internal main drive as well. I don't think you ever see that, unless we start going into a territory where consoles are more like modular, like PC. Then you're not going to see stuff like that where you can actually go and I was like, somebody get rid of these ridiculous accounts. Thank you. Thank you. Oh Lord, your two needs to fix that. That's the thing. Again, it's a weird. Yeah, I know. That's why I was thinking about putting it in sub only, but I was like, if I do that, it's just gonna like, because I know like a lot of people like to comment before the show. Like some of you guys have topics you like to share, but I don't know, man. That bot thing is annoying. Like it doesn't matter where you go, you just get a whole bunch of them. It's weird. Maybe they'll let us upgrade a RAM too. Doubt it. Again, if you get into a realm in a conversation where you can upgrade the RAM and overall like internal CPU, the internal GPU of the console, like on your own, you're better off at this point to start getting into PC gaming, because now you're officially in that conversation. You know what I mean? You're upgrading it on the go. You're doing you're basically upgrading a modular device. That's what's the thing about consoles versus PCs. The difference: PCs are modular, so you can have the exact same boring looking case, but inside you can have a beast. You know what I mean? Like if you look at Linus Tech Tips, he built a water cooled, insane masterpiece looking type of PC, right? And it was in an old school, like legit old school, like 2001, like 2001. PC case. You see what I'm saying? You can do stuff like that. So the thing is, consoles are not ever going to be in that conversation. At least I hope not. If consoles start going into that conversation where you can just start buying parts and connecting them to the console, then at that point in time, it's like, yeah, we kind of lost the thing. It's like comedy 101. Holy shit, this is hilarious. These accounts. What's up, Eric? What's up? I think people are rushing. Remember, they always start working on the next console as they finish with one. So I think this is what it is. I mean, they're saying it's dropping in 2023, 2024. So if it's dropping in 2023, this is courtesy of TCL. If it's dropping in 2023, 2024, right? Then clearly there is no rush towards. Well, clearly this is there's more to this. You know what I mean? This isn't just like, hey, we started production on a new console because the new one, the current one, is out in the market. No, this is more so them confirming basically, yeah, we're gonna get this unit. It's gonna drop regardless. Now, when I originally saw this, I was like, okay, is it a PS5? Because I thought I read it was as slim. You know what I mean? I thought it was like a PS5 slim, because I was like, okay, that makes sense. You get the slimmer models as you go forward. But for the first time ever, before we ever get a slim model, we're now getting a pro model. And then the pro model will transition into the Slim Pro series. I guess that's what they're going to call it at that point. Because remember, there's no talks of a slim. So, I don't know, man. It's up in the air at that point. Yeah, I go to StockX too. I got my graphics card for StockX, but here's the problem about StockX though. You're paying you're paying the mock-up price basically over there. You see what I'm saying? Just like I think Walmart's doing that too. Like there's some at Walmart PS5s, but you have to pay the upper price for it unless you can get lucky and get in line in PlayStation's official store, because Sony announced at the place, like pretty much it was already announced that they sold 80,000 PlayStation 5s in like 30 minutes. They sold out in like 30 to 20 minutes. The PS4 at this time, right, when it first came around, it took like what, a week? They did this in 30 minutes. Yeah, no. If you really want one, grab one. I mean, if you're gonna pay more, you get it. You know what I mean? It beats you going to a scalper for sure. You'll just get it from a legit site. You'll have a guaranteed console. It'll work. You know what I mean? The only downside about that too, though, is the warranty. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think there's any warranty, but they make sure it's legit before they send it to you. That's the good thing about StockX. But again, the downside about StockX at this current time is that you're paying that mock-up price right now. So prices are dropping a little bit for the GPUs because, let's face it, the scalpers have pretty much found the new price pool. They're about to get into the 40 series. You know what I'm saying? Or wait for the 40 series to drop. When the 40 series drop, you're going to see those 30 series cards go down significantly, even more. But I just, right now, it's just like, yeah, there's not much else you can really do at this point in time. It's up in the air. Yeah, no, that's true. They do. They like Sony. Sony loves to play the game. They like to keep us guessing. Times like this, though, I just feel like personally, this is one of those things where I kind of wish was like more so in the rumor mill. You know what I mean? I would hope that this was more so in the rumor mill, and it didn't really get like leaked like this, because now people are just gonna be looking like, okay, do I need a PS5 or do I just want to wait to 2024? Do I want to get the PS5 now or do I want to wait to 2024? You know what I mean? And now you got, and keep in mind, like next year we got Spider-Man 2, right? Wolverine at this point, you might as well call Wolverine the poster boy for the PS5 Pro at this point. Because, and that's crazy, because then Hip Hop, real talk, shout out to Hip Hop Gamer. Remember Hip Hop Gamer said Wolverine was going to be something that we never seen before type of thing? It was going to look better than anything we seen before. Even more credits getting thrown his way, especially with this Pro unit. So, hey, man. I guess you gotta just flow the punches. Now, where does that leave everybody else who's an early adopter? What does that leave everybody who paid markup prices for the PS5? What does that leave them? That's the thing. I don't think Sony's gonna have an upgrade system, right? Where you can upgrade your system. So, good luck on that. So, if you guys want a Pro, more than likely with this Pro unit, we're paying more than $500 at this point too. I feel it. I don't think it's gonna be $500. I see it being $600. This is the first time ever I can say that. This is probably a $600 price console. Or up there, getting close to that $600 price tag, unless Sony's keeping everything exactly the same, and the only thing they legit changed on this was the GPU, which, judging from the pricing, the GPU is actually cheaper, so it actually might not even be that high. It might be cheaper though, the Pro. Who knows? We'll see. 'Cause right now, yeah, it might be cheaper for them. God of War has been rated in Korea. Yeah, I know. I saw it. Yeah, we're about to get it soon. We already saw the last trailer. If you guys didn't see the last trailer for it, they polished it up, made it more, they cleaned it up. It looks a lot better than before. Looks a hell of a lot more sharper. I mean, Spider-Man, listen, Spider-Man, he served this purpose. Spider-Man's selling consoles regardless. You see what I'm saying? Until Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 2 is going to be the poster boy for PS5, the regular PS5 at this point. And then the Pro is going to get Wolverine. Unless Sony announces, like, I don't know, a definitive edition for the Pro, which would be weird. Or they'll announce a full-fledged upgrades, which more likely would just be the case. They'll just say, all the upgrades will be here on the Pro. And you get all this stuff for sure. So, you might get that. Resistance Retribution. Listen. Yeah, I appreciate everybody tagging me and all the Resistance stuff. Like I told you, it's coming. I'm not worried about Resistance. It's coming. It is most certainly coming, and I cannot wait to see it. When it drops, I'm disappearing. Period. I don't know. I might stream it though. If the multiplayer is really really good, I might stream the multiplayer as well on this channel because I do want to get back into that for sure. But definitely want to stream that. Let me scare this. You said more options are good, I think you said. Yeah, more options are good, I guess. Yeah, true. I guess. Yep, PSP game's going to be in the PlayStation Collection, or not. It's either going to be in the collection, or it's going to be brought to PS4, and I think it's brought to PS4 and 5, but I think it might also be in the collection. I'm not sure about the collection, though. I was going to tag you, but I said no. Yeah, I see all this stuff. I had a lot of people wanting me to join this Resistance server. I turned it down because I was like, yeah, I just don't want to be around. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Resistance, but like when you're part of like a fandom and you're in like a group, like a surrounding group, like people talking about it. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't want to be around it. Like, I don't want to like be reminded so many times because all that does is make you want to crave the game that much more. You know what I mean? It kind of hurts to be around that, especially when you're reminiscing over it a little too much. I'm like, yeah, I just want to see it when I see it type of thing. It will be cool, though, like when we officially get the announcement for it, to go back and stream the whole Resistance series. I kind of do want to do that just to get back into it and get some more eyes on that game. But we'll see. Might do that regardless, though. It's been way too long And that game is so good. I do want to play it again. We really haven't seen the full power of the PS5 yet, so I'm going to hold off on the Pro. That's the thing. Again, I said it earlier. It's weird. It's weird. PS5. I mean, again, Spider-Man 2 would be it, but like I don't even care after that though. Like, you know what I mean? I just don't really care. What up, Thanos? What's up? It hurts your heart. Oh, that's why I don't want to join. Yo, shout out to Blaze joined that SOCOM server. He's actually been playing SOCOM online. There's actually like this little mod on PC where you can play SOCOM like on the actual servers and play against actual people. There's a lot of people on them servers playing SOCOM. So he's actually in that. Me, I was like, nah, I don't even want to bother getting into this one over here. Shout out to Solid Rev in the chat. What up, bro? He says 9:43 in the AM. What the fuck are we doing here, nerd? Why don't you start? You be up at what? 7 in the morning playing GTA 4? Old games, you fraud. I'm surprised you didn't drop the video on this PS5 Pro. You know what I mean? I thought you'd be excited for PS5 Pro. You know, you always get excited for hardware, Rev. What happened? Are you in the same boat as me? It's useless, like, or not useless, but it's kind of pointless to have a new console. This guy. I know the PS5 games are taking longer to go down in price than PS4 games this long into a generation. Oh yeah, of course it's gonna take longer. Why would it be quicker? Think about that. Nah. He says, nah, that shit's reserved for my days off. Late at night. Yeah, I know. Figured. What's up, man? What's up? At least you got far, in Elden Ring. Shout out to Rev, man. He almost beat Elden Ring. Almost. He had like 2 bosses left. And he decided to call it quits. But you got farther than a lot of these frauds who said the game is easy. So shout out to you on that. Oh, Lord. This whole thing is weird. Next gen consoles already, and we're barely 2 years into this gen. Another 2 years, you're gonna have a PS5 Pro and an Xbox Series Elite XL, whatever the hell you want to call that thing, bruh. That argument of PC gaming is too expensive has officially died. It has officially died, but there's going to be some people on the board with it again. And I'm not faulting anybody. If you want the hardware, take it. You know what I mean? If you are excited for more so for hardware, buy it. But you say I'll buy a console refresh every year? What? I can't get behind that, man. At that point, what's the point? If we buy a console refresh every year, what? No. Unless, okay, because right now we're in that realm, Rev. I don't know if you remember the Steam machine. I just mentioned this earlier, but we're in that realm. We're starting to touch that realm, like Steam machines with the PS3. When we had like a beginner one, we had like an intermediate one that had like subtle upgrades, and you had the more advanced one that was like top of the line. I really feel like that's where that territory we're kind of heading right now, and it's like, why? You know what I mean? I don't see that being great for the console market at this point, because yeah, some people might say options are good, but at this point in time, especially when Sony can't even guarantee you a base model PS5, and also too, Rev, think about this. Just because they have more power too, right? That doesn't mean that we'll still see that creativity that we've been lacking for a long time. We say this all the time. Games now have to cater to get demographics. You know what I'm saying? Games can't be over the top and ambitious like it used to be. You know what I mean? God of War, for example. I love God of War 2018, but if we're talking about pure gore and physics and whatnot, right? It's toned down compared to God of War 3. God of War 3, we saw dudes' heads getting ripped off. You saw tendons being snapped, right? And God of War 2018, you got more of this like yellow, glowing blood. You don't really see dismemberment as much. And any like characters that do get like dismembered or broken apart, they're like skeletons for the most part. You see what I'm saying? You don't see that much stuff. So it's like, it's going to be more of the same regardless of what power we get. It's kind of like you're running into a brick wall. It's like, yeah, you got all this power, but guess what? Here's this big wall right here in front of you blocking the path to really push it. And the reason why that it's there is because again, it's just the way things are now. Games, I just feel like games and creativity really are just being like cut because of just the state of the world. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to be offended. Everybody has to be included type of stuff. Instead of just having games really be all that. Like notice horror games are not even the same anymore. Horror games are toned down. Look at Resident Evil 7. I love Resident Evil 7, but after like the castle and that baby section, the game becomes an action game. It doesn't even become a horror game anymore. You don't have that stuff anymore. You don't have constant terror. So it's like, you know, it's crazy. May as well get better hardware to make this. Just give me Max Payne. I take Max Payne over just having a better hardware in that case. Power score, but you need the talent to go with it. Yeah, that's true. Rev, Taylan lazy, Blaze to start the party. He ain't gonna start it. I don't know what happened. He was supposed to start it yesterday. He went AFK. Ever since he got his monitor, he went AFK. Gonna lose my mind when I see a new Infamous trailer or teaser. Yeah, I can see that happening soon. Eventually. Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2 what? Talking about gore? Last of Us 2 had gore. But that's one out of how many games? You don't see that in a lot of games. That's the point I'm making here. A lot of games are being included or toning down. The current PS5 can do 8K 30 FPS, but I've only remember seeing one kiddie game actually doing that. Again, 8K. Why are we talking about 8K when we haven't even mastered 4K? See what I'm saying? It's weird. It's a weird situation. At GTA, I told that man what he needs to do. He's still talking about plays. But cloud developers always take the path of least resistance. And I don't think they do that by choice, though. I think that's more of a company decision that impacts their decision. One thing about if you have a vision and you want to be creative, usually you would act on your ambitions and be creative and go over the top. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm excited as hell for Dead Space Remake. Mostly because it's not a retelling or anything. It's pretty much the original team, Visceral Games work, right? They're just adding upon it. So it's going to be much more the same, gory, same, you know, more better, you know, sound effects and whatnot. But I'm hyped for that because, again, I know what I'm getting myself into. You know what I mean? I'm getting into that horror, gritty game, you know, very over the top. The game that I'm really expecting the most out of, though, it's not even that game in terms of horror. It's actually the Callisto Protocol. The Callisto Protocol has me like, yeah, that's the game to get if we're talking about pure horror, because the guys over there at Visceral Games are on another level when it comes to pushing that horror element. They really are. It's just for 8K output. Even this new Horizon Horizon isn't going to have any games on that. Yeah, that's true, man. That is true. Yeah. Said bro, two words Callisto Protocol. I said it. Or did I say this guy trying to bust my balls. Oh. Oh, he said I said at the same time. I was like, yeah. Callisto Protocol is where it's at. That's where I'm hyped for it. Hey yo, Slow Mo. How you feeling about this, man? You hyped for it? I don't know if you at work. They dropping this hour because they know the PS5 Pro will sell out just as fast as the PS5 did, and they can charge more. Yeah, I don't know though. You see, this the pricing right now for the 7000 GPU. It's actually cheaper than the 5700 equivalent that's supposedly in the PS5 right now. That's what they're saying. So it might not be more expensive. It might be cheaper, especially if they just rock the same components and just give you a better GPU. Just go the Xbox Series or Xbox One X route, a better GPU and just the same CPU. Because the CPUs in both these consoles are actually good this time around. They were just limited to those GPUs. You feel me? So I feel like that might be the case. They go about it. Who knows? Honestly, might actually be the case. Jesus Christ, what's going on here? Let's slow it down. There we go. I'm gonna go play Sniper Elite 5 on Game Pass for about 30 minutes, then probably uninstall. So I can't do that, Rev. Like you jump from game to game to game, and then you uninstall and you get bored at the 30 minutes. I can't do it, man. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if it's just the fact that I'm not, like, I don't have the patience like I did before, or the fact that I just want to get invested. You know what I mean? Like, I really want to sit there and play it. I mean, I get it that you say it all the time that you don't have that much, like, crazy time to play as much because, you know, you have work and whatnot. It's tough. It's tough for me to do that now. And the reason why it's tough for me to do that is because when I jump from one game to another, especially when they have different controls, it makes the experience, it hurts the experience for me. I don't know. I just can't do it like I used to. Yeah, I hear you, Slimmer. I hear you. Just want to say thanks for what you bring to the gaming community. Appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you. That's all I do. It may be cheaper to produce, but they're gonna charge the consumer more. Well, I mean, oh yeah, possibly. I don't think it's gonna hit the $600 though. If it hits $600, then I'm gonna be curious of what they doing with that CPU and whatnot. But slow-mo, remember. They cut the cooling solution. They cut out in the cooling solution on the PS5, the base one, leading into this decision to go, hey, PS5 Pro units are going to drop in 2023, 2024. So, yeah, you know me. I got my eye on that. I told you I have my eye on that base model. I was like, listen, I appreciate Sony, I do, but I'm like, cutting out on a cooling solution on a system that gets super hot, which was the main thing you talked about for PS5, doesn't really tell me that system is future-proof. Now we're going into this, and it's like, oh, wow, okay. Now it all makes sense. Now you got a whole new system to get into, a whole new set of problems or possibilities. So it's like, hey, Sony's going to sell it. They're going to make their money. They're going to do their thing. Am I going to get a PS5 Pro? No. I went a whole gym with just a PS4 standard. I didn't need a PS4 Pro because I felt like HDR wasn't everything at the time. Plus, I didn't even have a 4K TV, which was funny. When I upgraded to 4K eventually, it then started, and I was like, okay, cool. I missed out on some pretty visuals. Awesome. But it was like, that was about it for the PS4 Pro. Everybody was talking about HDR. It's better. And I'm like, yeah, it looks better. But is it playing better? No, it's the same experience. So, kind of pointless. So that's how I was at that time. PS5 Pro, 2 terabyte, $600. That's a little too pricey. I think it'd be a little cheaper than that because not graphics cards, hard drives should probably be cheaper in 2 more years. So I don't think it'd be $600 for that, but you might get 2 terabytes for $500. I don't know, man. These freshers won't make any difference between better frame rate and consistent resolution. I believe the more powerful hardware we have, the less creativity we see from developers. Yeah, it's a slippery slope, man. I mean, yeah, that's true. Again, I do, like I said, and I stand on that hill. And again, it's nothing against the developer. I just think it's more of a company decision, right? To hold them back. It's like, yeah, some studios get that opportunity to really push a game. Like, again, somebody said Last of Us 2, where you see gory stuff and whatnot. But you don't see that every single game. You know what I mean? You don't see that all across the board. It's like everybody has a group discussion. It's like, okay, yeah, this is good. This will be great to drag them along, right? And then we'll cut it here and we'll just make it action-based. Like, I don't even know how I feel. Like Resident Evil, like for example, Resident Evil 2 Remake. Here's a prime example. Remember how Resident Evil 2 Remake is one that, like, I talk about the game very, very much. Like, I praised that game from a mountain because I felt like that was a love letter to fans. It gave you the perfect elements of horror, right? You had the Resident Evil 4 style controls with the way you move and with the character and everything. And it just felt like they took every ounce of criticism and stepped it up and fixed the game and gave you everything that you possibly would want, right? In fact, that template is what we expect from the Resident Evil 4 remake, because, we're getting Resident Evil 4 remake. I feel like, though, after that game, you saw less and less and less of games being more so of love letters and just being something that just caters for the sake of being part of a group or fandom to get more sales out of it, if that makes sense. Notice, again, horror games. Back then, horror games, if you didn't like horror games, you weren't going to like this game. You see what I'm saying? Like, Alien Isolation. I love Alien Isolation. I hold that game very, very high, right? And I want a part 2. But the odds of us getting a part 2 are very slim, if not ever will get a part 2 to that. I'm gonna tell you why. Because that game didn't hold your hand. Alien Isolation had the no autosaves, right? It was hard. It was hard as hell to get through the game, especially with the difficulty spike, especially, you know, when you're going against the alien. Plus, it was pure terror and tension. You don't have that many games that literally, you know, puts you in that state of panic as much. You just don't. Now, hopefully, Callisto Protocol, which I do think is going to be the next one, that's going to be the one that kind of just like fulfills that desire for the horror game to scare the hell out of you. I do think that's going to be it. But after Callisto Protocol, I don't see much else. Like, I don't think Resident Evil 9 is going to be anything of that nature. When they eventually get into the Resident Evil 9, I don't think I don't even think Resident Evil 4 will be changed to be more horror. If anything, you're just going to see the same, and it's going to be more action. So, you know, that's where it's at for me. Our problem is games as a service taking up development time that could go towards making mature games. I don't think that matters as much either. Games as a service isn't the issue. Again, games as a service, that's your company decision to monetize on a game. You see what I'm saying? Look at Dead Space 3 and compare that to Dead Space 2 and 1. It was a company decision over at EA to make that game focus more so on monetization as opposed to horror. See what I'm saying? So that's why you had the little bot going around. You can buy resources. You can upgrade your gun and make these crazy contraptions type of weapons. See what I'm saying? That's a company decision. It has nothing to do with the model of a service. Now, you could say the quality of the game, sure, if it was rushed, absolutely. And, like, it was one of those games where they fix it as it goes, you know what I'm saying, with constant updates, a.k.a. Halo Infinite. That's a prime example of this, of a game that was never ready, but they threw it out there because it was part of a service, and they were like, okay, it's day one. We're not going to charge you a dime. You know, you get it right out the gate for $15. And you play it, and we add on to it. But yeah, I saw the problems with Halo Infinite being a service instead of focusing on quality. The game had no modes. The game didn't look that great. It looked better in the final shots when we got it, but it could have looked 5 times better. You know what I mean? It could have looked significantly better if it had the time to go through the polish and everything. But that's what happens when you rush a game into a service as opposed to coming up with a company decision, or when a company does that. And as opposed to giving you a quality game, that's what happens. First, that's again. Oh, he's on him. What's up, Gleason? What's up? Shout to what's up. If I say what's up, what's up? Literally all up in my chat right now. Island, what up? What's up? What's up? Time for breakfast. Have a great day, then. Everybody, be safe. You too, Robert. You too. Jacob, what up? He says it will be 500 again. Yeah, I would say probably 500. That's a sweet spot at this point. I mean, it's funny. The sweet spot last year was 400. Now we're talking about 500. Now the question is, Jacob, would you get like a 2 SKUs like we got for the PS5? Remember we got 2 SKUs? We had a digital and a physical. I doubt you're going to get that. You're just going to have one big console. It's going to be disc space. Which, by the way, has anybody seen the discless version of the PS5? The discless PS5 kind of just went AFK now, didn't it? That disappeared off the face of the earth. I have yet to see anybody post any pictures for a discless PS5. Crazy, right? The discless PS5 is gone. And remember, that was the console that I put the most stock in. I thought that console was going to be the one that they stocked the most because it was cheaper. It cost them less, significantly less, because you didn't have the disk drive. You just had all the components. It's the same console, minus the component, like one big component, which is the DVD drive. No, that disappeared. So they went and sold that. That joint was gone, boy. So you don't see that no more. I still have a 1080p TV as a 4-year-old, and I'm not replacing it until it's dead. Damn, you still can't say I'm 1080p forever. The problem with Saints Row is they're using the same game tools as Saints 3. Group isn't willing to spend AAA. Well, you're directing this towards Saints Row. I'm not even talking about Saints Row. Really, Saints Row doesn't bother me whatsoever. You know, I mean, you can throw Saints Row in the group of games, right, that have been toned down or modified to cater or include people, right? You can most certainly throw that game into that conversation, but that's not where my attention is focused on. I'm talking about games as a whole. Games as a whole have taken a significant turn from what we saw from the PS3 gen. PS3 gen, we saw a lot of variety. I mean, we're still getting variety, but we saw a lot of variety in terms of just like, I would say, risk taking. You see what I'm saying? There was a lot of risk taking. There was a lot of games that just was like, yo, we don't care. We're gonna go over the top. Look at Heavy Rain, the first Heavy Rain game we got, and what that game did for its time, and then compare that again to what we got with Detroit. You see what I'm saying? Like you get a lot of, there's only like a handful of games, it feels like, they're doing stuff like that. I'm just saying, man. I do feel it. Jesus Christ, my chat's moving a little fast, so I gotta scroll all the way up. There we go. Says exactly. Facts, man. Aloy, what up? He says Xbox will have to drop the S for whatever Pro model. Nah, I don't even think the S is gonna go away. Remember, Microsoft's cop out for this. Microsoft's whole marketing like plot for the series line, it literally tells you in the first line or the first word, series. So the Xbox One S, or yeah, the Series S, I'm sorry, it's not going anywhere. So you're still going to have that. And remember, like I said, Steam Machine, remember? So what I say for Steam Machine? Entry, in this case, Xbox Series S. Intermediate, Xbox Series X. And then your Pro model will be your Elite or your premium model. That's exactly where it falls in line with Microsoft. So they already have that already done. They can just call it Series X or Series. They call it Series. They can call it Series XL, Series Series Elite. I don't know. There's plenty of wording they can do for that series line for the new one. They can do that. I think it's funny how people really think T-Cell would actually know Sony's roadmap for years to come. Nobody can predict Sony. We'll see. Too hard. I'm not sure. So I'm reading the chat here. A lot of people are falling for 8K gaming on a console. Yeah, I know. You're not going to see 8K gaming on a console. I mean, you might see 8K textures in games like we saw in that Unreal Engine demo. Remember that? The Nanite engine? Remember that? Which I thought would be the basis, which ironically, that can still be the basis for a lot of games now that you got a Pro unit coming. So that's another thing to be excited for. So let's say a PS5 in general can't necessarily hack it for that. You can get those 8K like textures in games. You can get those type of stuff, going down. I can see that if they really needed the extra horsepower for that type of stuff and make the environments look even better and pristine, for sure. But that's about it, man. I don't really see much else that's screaming, hey, yeah, we need this. I don't see much else. So I don't know, man. I just don't know. The reality is that if you try to cater to everyone, your product quality will be diluted. You can't please everyone. That's humanity. And that right there is the facts. You most certainly cannot please everybody, and you most certainly cannot meet everybody's expectations. But again, a lot of people want to be a part of the group, which is fine, and I'm not against it. I'm not against anybody getting into like any type of game. If you want to try out horror, if you want to try out action of interest, or go for it. But I don't want the art to take an impact or take a hit because that type of group might get sensitive, or to include. I don't want to see that. That right there, I just feel like just kind of. It takes away from the word creativity. You know what I mean? Because what if that developer had something big planned for that character that was much more ambitious or much more heart-wrenching? You know what I mean? And he can't do it because of a certain group saying something. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel on stuff. And the same thing goes with blood and guts and video games. I just feel like that stuff's just taking a back seat. And you're seeing less and less of it. But, hey, man. That's just me, man. AK and Space Invaders and Pac-Man. Ugh. Pac-Man and AK. Pac-Man and AK. Let me switch back. I don't know why. I'll turn that off. There we go. But who knows, man? No, casuals. I wouldn't say casuals ruined anything. We need casuals. There are just certain things that change to cater, like to keep them in line. Like, for example, there's a prime example, and this is why I'm not excited for Call of Duty, and I never will be excited for Call of Duty ever again. But you guys remember how, like, in Call of Duty, you got like the pro, you got like the pro perks for everybody else in Call of Duty. Like, you'll get like the amplify for the sound horrors. You got like your dead silence for the footsteps. You got like your perks to, get the ammo, all that stuff. If you're like a survivor type of person, right? You're just a slayer. And then on the right, you'll see some other perks that just are clearly for those who are just not that good at the game. For example, Danger Close, which increases explosive damage. You'll have new tubes, riot shields, C4. Should I'm going with this? Should I'm going with this? It's like, yeah, they can't get a kill, so we'll put in this cheap stuff to guarantee them kills and guarantee them a way of screwing you over, and having those moments. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll throw in other game modes like Infected into that game, which actually, Infected was actually fine, but until they started messing up. But then they throw Infected in there for those who can't get on 30 kill streaks or 20 kill streaks. They do that all the time. So, that's what happens. Says PS5 ain't happening, only PS6. Sony admitted it themselves. Thank me later. Sony admitted it themselves that there's going to be a PS6. No PS5 Pro. All right, man. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. You're gonna get a Pro. RWK, what up? Why's my chat so small here? Well, I'm not seeing everything. Maybe I gotta move this to the big screen. Maybe. That's like the problem of having so many monitors. It's like the downside. Hold on. Or it can be the downside of it. Oh, there it is. Like, where did my screen go? Perfection. There you go. Now I can see my screen, but yep. There's session timed up. Oh, that's for the editing page. I'm like, what's that? Sorry about that. I had to bring my screen back up. All right, back to the chat. My bad. Another problem is that people in this day and age have become embarrassingly soft. They get triggered by the smallest incident. I know. You don't even have to tell me that. I already know. It's wild. Sony goes from making cross-gen games to PS5 Pro games. There's no way. Hey, business 101. He said I won the lottery. I said it myself. PS6 better play data 4K 60 games. I mean, you about to get that with the Pro. Again, I don't know what to really like. What people really expecting out of a PS6. Like, again, consoles have hit that point where you're getting more refinements than anything. You see what I'm saying? You'll get the pretty graphics, you'll get all the stuff, the details and the textures and the lighting, you'll get all that stuff. But you're getting to that point where you're getting more refinements than anything, and like that's it. The only thing to really be excited for and jump out your seat for the most part, would be performance. That's why I said performance is key. That's why when we first started talking about PS5 and dudes was talking about, hey, it's RDNA 1.5 or it's RDNA, you know, it's not RDNA 2. It can't do 4K. You know, dudes talking about 4K. And I'm sitting there going, okay, even if it didn't do 4K. And you gotta remember that. Remember that video when I told y'all, like, shout out to him. I'm gonna shout him out now because I don't really, you know, I have no beef with him, but the dude's annoying as hell. He's just too much of an expert for his own good. But I remember Titan Drago tried to pull me into a conversation, or he tried to jump into a conversation I was having with Dutch, and the dude tried to like educate me on the difference between 4K. And I was like, and I basically asked, because basically he was comparing. Y'all remember the Hitman gameplay we saw where we're like on the PS5, it was 1800p, and after it was 1800p on PS5, and it was like 4K on Xbox Series X. The dude was like, yeah, that's the difference. I'm like, I asked him flat out, do you even know the difference between 4K and 1800p? You see, Slow-Mo knows the difference between 4K and 1800p, but I flat out asked this dude, what's the difference between 4K and 1800p? Let me see if you guys know in the chat. What's the difference between 1440p or 1800p, sorry, and 4K? What's the difference? Go ahead. Y'all answer away. And I'm going to tell you what he said. Y'all gonna facepalm. We'll go back to the chat. To be fair, but I think the PS5 Pro will be the tech insider. Well, I'm sorry. Will be the tech inside the PS6. I would hope so, but I really would hope so. I would hope so. But then they gave us, the problem with that, though, they gave us a full-blown release window. You know what I mean? 2023, 2024. So that's the only thing that rubs me the wrong way if that was the case. Like, imagine in 2 more years you had a PS6 as opposed to a Pro. You know what I'm saying? No, it's weird. That's where I'm at with that whole thing. Resident Evil 2 Remake had the best gore I've seen. Those devs seen the live leaks of some deep web shit, especially the facts, dog. And you notice again, Resident Evil 3, they toned that down to Resident Evil 3 because you couldn't really head explode them as much. It was like toned down. You can do it, but it wasn't as grotesque. So, all right, let's see. Did anybody figure it out? Let's see. He says 300. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Anybody figure it out? Okay. So this is what he said. The difference between 14 or 1800p, but the difference between 1800p and 4K. This is what he said. He said the difference was shadow quality. I facepalmed. I was like, "Yep, we're done here. I can't take you serious." The dude legit, he was dead serious. The dude legit thought he was trying to educate me. He was like, yo, first of all, the difference between PlayStation 5's 1800p and Microsoft's 4K is the shadow quality. I mean, look at the picture. I'm sitting here going, what the hell does shadow quality have to do with pixels on a screen? That has nothing to do with resolution. What are we doing here? And the dude got mad as hell that he just took the biggest L. Like, it was funny. He had like 3 people. It was on Twitter. I still remember to this day. He had like 3 people on Twitter like jumping in. Some were liking his tweets. You know how dudes like to like the tweets. I mean, like something like that. Yeah, he's right over yours. Until he said that, everybody went dead silent. You can hear a pin drop in that damn chat. I was like, where you get shadow quality from, my guy? Like, come on, man. Dude was quick, man. Dude was quick. They were like, he was literally latching on to Digital Foundry, like to every detail of Digital Foundry's video, and was like, yeah, this is why Xbox is better. I'm sitting there going, bro, it's one game, and it's 1800p, yeah, versus 4K, but the only difference is shadow quality, which is completely different setting. Everything else looked identical to every single step. The only difference is one has more pixels on the screen. That's it. Now you got Pro units, you're going to have more pixels on the screen, and you're probably going to hit, I don't think you're going to hit 4K 120, but you'll have 120 option in performance mode. Like, this is great. Like, again, now that I think about it, now that I really think about it, performance modes for games are about to hit like a big, you know what I mean? Like, I can see those getting a real good overhaul for the PlayStation 5 and Series X consoles. I can see that. But that's about it though. Like I don't see 4K 120. I don't think we're touching that ever at all. Especially when I'm talking about 8K output. I don't think we're going to see that. Unless you're doing like 8K textures in the games, like we saw in the Nanite engine, which I'm all for. I don't see that being a thing whatsoever. The difference between 1800p and 4K is more pixels. But 4K is overrated as of 2022 because there are so many tools and techniques. And that's true. Yeah, that's another thing, too. That is a good point. That is a perfect point about it, too. Yo, so you need to come through Friday, bro. Like, real talk. Yeah, that is a good point. They pretty much eliminated the need for 4K because they have all these techniques. Like the biggest thing they had lately was the Fidelity FX, where they're cutting resolution. If y'all remember that, for performance gain in games, where it like blurs out the background. He's like, you know how like you see like my background, you guys see my clear background here? If I was to turn on NVIDIA broadcast and blur this out, there are techniques to like that they have in games now where that blurs that out so it doesn't really prioritize that, and then they focus on performance. So they have techniques to get around stuff like this. It's like, again, resolution is like, it's weird for me. I get it. It's marketing. It's a marketing term. 8K output, they go, okay, cool. I'm buying it for 8K or I'm buying it for 4K. That's great. But from what I remember, we don't need it. Ain't nothing wrong with you, fool. You good. Ain't nothing wrong with Kobe. So I'm coming from Kobe. Ain't nothing wrong with you, you fraud. Nah, I'm playing. Yo, well. But I see that, though. That makes sense. Makes a hell of a lot of sense. It's all about textures and shaders. Not resolution. Yeah. Again, man. It's a lot of stuff you got to take into account for these consoles. He says you can't own what? On which settings you can't on Cyberpunk. Oh, he's talking about Cyberpunk in terms of low settings. He's talking about 4K 120. You can, well, here's the thing about 4K 120, right? Even in the PC realm, right? There is only like a lot of people don't really care for the 4K 120. The thing people care about, for the most part, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said Island Sandwich. The people who care about more, like what they care about more so over there on the console side, or I mean on the PC side, is performance. So that's why you see people more so with 1440p displays, or they'll push 1800p or 4K and then they'll have like 60. But really, people prioritize the performance over anything. If they can get 4K 60 on a game, guess what? They'll go for it. But I'm gonna tell you right now, and this is what I wanted for console gaming to begin with anyway. And this is something I preach because it's funny, you know, the dudes who were saying like, oh, 30 frames is better than 60 frames. You know, the dudes that cap, they don't know anything about tech, but they don't know nothing about tech. But then now are all of a sudden tech experts because you're getting 60 on consoles now. You know, they were like, oh, 30 frames is better than 60 because it's more filmic and it depends on the game. I'm like, no, I'll take 60 frames in every category of game, whether it be open world or or it be those linear games over 30 anything, because 60 is a smoother experience. They're like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it does. 60 is a different story. 60 is where it's at. It's always been where it's at. But the new trend is 120. When you go from 60 to 120, it kind of makes you not want to go to anything below 60. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. How they gonna make a 3090 Ti when they can't make enough 39s? Well, they about to do the new. Well, yeah, that's true. But they about to do a 40 series line as well. What up, John? What up? But they about to do a new 40 series. They don't, bro. From what we're seeing with the way graphics cards and the way these consoles are going, they don't really care about the supply. They just care about moving forward. You know what I mean? And it's just an option of like, yo, hey, look, yeah, if you can't get this model, if you can't get that model, why don't you get this model? The problem with getting the 40 series, right, especially if you have an older piece of tech, you're probably going to have to upgrade a few things. Number one, your power supply. You're probably going to upgrade your board. You're probably going to have to upgrade your RAM, your CPU. You see what I'm saying? All this stuff. So that's what's going on here. They're just going into the market for those who really, really crave that 4K 120. You know, that's it. And that's really it. I would probably get it more so for the workspace, like for the workflow as well. Because the way these graphics cards have been working, especially with these new CPUs, the new AMD, like AMD might actually just steal me away completely from Intel. Like, even though Intel has stepped it up a lot, I feel like you're getting a hell of a lot more out of AMD CPUs in the long run for the flexibility. You know what I mean? The multitask, so much stuff you can do with those CPUs versus Intel. So, who knows, man? I'm up in the air on it, really. Really, really am. They only slow down new products when they aren't moving units. There's been a GPU drought for over a year. Not it being able to keep up supply is exactly why they're pushing forward with these things. Yeah. And that right there again, that's another set of problems at this point. It's another set of problems. He says PS5 Pro better play native 4K 60 on resolution mode. Again, man, it depends on what's in the box, man. If they go, like, again, with this new GPU, which is looking better, but you got the same CPU, you might have the same limitations. You might not be able to hit 60 in resolution mode. You know what I mean? You might not. Now, it would be cool if you can hit that 4K 60, everything, or at least a more refined performance ray tracing mode. Remember how, like I said, that should have been the go-to, where you get both. You get the performance, you get the ray tracing. You know, you get the full package, and you got that with Spider-Man Miles Morales. They gave you that. They gave you that with I think you get that in Spider-Man Definitive Edition too. You getting that? But I would prefer games to take the route of like the Nanite engine, where it's like 1800p, the 8K textures, and then you run it at 60. I think that's fine. 1800p. Listen, I don't know why people get so upset with this or they get weird about this, but 1800p on consoles is perfectly fine. You saw me say it earlier. Dudes can't tell the difference between 1800p and 4K. So what the hell is what's the point? You see what I'm saying? So it's really, that's where they should be. That's where gaming really should be at this point. It doesn't have to prioritize 4K. It doesn't have to do nothing of that nature. It just needs to be better. And when it does that, we all benefit because we get better performance. They can't hit 4K 120. Yeah, no. Nobody's saying that, nor do we want that. I mean, if you're talking about PC, it depends on your graphics card for one, but also the game itself and just what it is, the scope of the game. But yeah, not every game will touch 4K 120. Even if you have a boss setup, I don't think you'll touch that unless something massive happens with it. It depends on the developer, the optimization, and how ambitious that game is, especially going to PC. The PS5 does get backwards compatibility with PS3 games. That will be a problem for those obsessed with 60 FPS and up. PS3 games are fixed at 30. Yeah, and that's why I think they're going to that's why I think they're going to actually change, or they're going to have those games be boosted. Remember, like we have boosted performance. I think they're just going to have those games fine-tuned and whatnot for it. Now, the PS5 has a cop-out for this. To run the games, but obviously you're not going to be able to run them at 60. But you guys remember, PS5 runs at a variable frequency, so it can match the frequency of a PlayStation 3, PS2, and 1. You see what I'm saying? And run those games. So Sony kind of already had that well scouted with Mark Cerny. They had it well scouted, but the problem is boosting them and getting performance out of them. And I think they're going to have some measures in play for it, because 60 needs to be the go-to for those games. He says, I can tell the difference. Oh, you're talking about 60 FPS and 30? Yeah. Performance, you can always tell the difference between. Resolution is no. Resolution, you can never tell a difference unless it's 1080p. If it's 1080p image and you're looking at an 1800p 4K image, you can clearly see where it's different there. But 4K to 1800p, there is really no difference aside from some more pixels. That's all it is. He said native 4K isn't worth it, especially if AMD's FSR takes off and you're getting a native 4K image without the base resolution needing to be 4K. Y'all don't understand how expensive 4K is. Facts. That is an absolute fact. FSR will probably, I don't even think FSR is going to be mastered with PS5 Pro at the time. I do see it being implemented for sure, but I see it being mastered right around the time we hit PlayStation 6. At that point, the PS6 would be a full-blown powerhouse in terms of just performance, and you still get the visuals, you still get those nice, you'll still get the beauty out of the first party, but I think that would be what they do for it. That's where I would put my stock into, is PS6 doing everything. What's this? Clusters. Sorry, I'm getting like my messages are going off. This is from Innkeeper's Creed. Oh, that's cool. That looks cool. Might consider that. Might consider that down the road. Let's see who else is calling me here. We got. Okay. One more second here. Just reading my DMs. Okay. But yeah, I can see it. Let's see here. Can't type on phone. Are you good? 30 FPS only acceptable for retro games. I can vouch for that. Yeah, sure. Big Cloud, I got the platinum for Star Wars Republic Commando. If you haven't played it yet, it's really good game. Takes place before Order 66 happens. Cool. I don't think I have played that. I heard about it. I played Bounty Hunter. I played KOTOR. I played Jedi Fallen Order. I played I guess you can say I played Battlefront. Well, I did play Battlefront, but it was only for a little bit, the multiplayer for it, because I was thinking about platinum it. Then I just stopped because I was playing that with Jack X62. So I kind of like stopped playing that. And then it was Battlefront 2 when they had the online beta open where you can play the online beta. And I actually thought the online beta was okay for the most part until you start seeing what they did to the multiplayer down the road. It was like, yeah, I never got into it afterwards. You said frame rate resolution scaling? The resolution, again, would have to probably be tweaked for every game. And it depends. Because, again, they already have, from what it looks like, they have a separate team putting the trophies into those games. You know what I'm saying? So it would make sense they had a team to put those trophies and whatnot. I mean, put that stuff in there since you got the trophies being incorporated. So that's where I'm at with it. So maybe. More likely. Real question is, it can run PS4, or I'm sorry, can PS4 run Unreal Engine 5? No, I don't think so. It can run PS4. It runs Unreal Engine 4. I don't think it's compatible with Unreal Engine 5. I don't think so. Unreal Engine 5 is higher grade. Plus yeah, it's higher grade. I don't think it can. Big Claw, I already read that. I know that's the way I think PS5 is a beast. Time to smell this one. Cypher filter looks how I remember it. Man, they didn't change anything. The real question is, he said, the real question is, alright, that. What's the point of all this power when the only two games take advantage of the power are RDA 2 and Happy's Golf? Oh my god, here we go. Hey, you know how it is. You guys can wait and think about Pro all you want. I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of the current PS5. I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm trying to. I really thought the conversation would be just PS5, but now it's just like it's shifted to Pro units now. Nobody's talking about PS5. They want to talk about this Pro. I don't know, man. I'm indifferent on the whole thing. I don't know how I feel. I don't want it. I feel like the PS5 Pro is unnecessary at this current time, and when it does eventually drop, I mean, again, it's gonna be like, who cares? PS4 version of Gotham Knights was canceled because developers admitted that the game would be held back. Yeah, there you go. Well, there's that. That's my thoughts on this whole PS5 situation, or PS5 Pro situation. Let me if you hit that like button. Appreciate y'all coming through. We'll definitely talk about everything, especially the debacle with the PS Plus. They basically backtracked. I said it earlier at the start of the stream, but they backtracked everything, so everything's good. I meant to do a video on it, but I was on a few podcasts, so I was like, I couldn't do it in time. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to drop a late video for you. I was going to we'll cover it either today or tomorrow, but since we just went over this, we mentioned it, we covered it, so there's that. So they reversed their decisions on charging you basically the difference. If you bought like a discounted PS Plus card or whatever and stacked, you're not going to be charged for that stuff, which is great. So we'll see. Good to see, good to see, good to see, good to see. Anyway, that is what's going on there. Appreciate y'all coming through. PlayStation 5 Pros, Xbox Series X Elites. Oh boy. And yes, we got Ragnarok coming this year. Again, I have no doubts for that. I'm guessing they might show that at the Game Awards, bro. I don't know. Unless they're doing... I don't know. Unless they're doing something else. I don't know. But I said June would be the show. I think June would be the show. And you'll see that game in July. Or, I'm sorry. You'll see that game launch in September. But, I mean, it might be earlier than that. Who knows at this point? Might be earlier. Excuse me. All right, I'll answer this last question. He said, Bitcoin, why is everyone okay with Unreal Engine 5 running at 30 FPS every time we're showing a demonstration? I mean, it's demonstrations. They're showing off scalability of the engine and whatnot, usually. Like, look at Wukong Black Myth. They were showing off everything for that. That game looks fire to this day. You know what I'm saying? So, that's all it is. Just demonstration. I do agree that I would like to see 60, but again, it's just a demonstration purposes. That's all that is. So that's what that is. But anyway, that's my take on the whole thing. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one, and I will holler at y'all later. I'm out of here.